I apologize for the sound of my voice. I just woke up, but I wanted to address a video that we just recently put up on our Brain vs. Heart channel. We also did the podcast of it. You want to see the full podcast, then in the description of that video or this one, you can check them out there. Now, a person asked a question, and it was a really excellent question. And for that part of the video, I talked about when your friends are cheating on each other, meaning you have a good friend on one side, and then you have a good friend on the other side. And one is cheating on the other, and even worse yet, the one that one of them is cheating on is also your friend, which was the case with me. In my husband's case, they were both his friends, and one of them had cheated on the other, but the situation was slightly different. Let me explain why I didn't say anything at the time, and why my husband didn't say anything. We did expound on this in the podcast, but we were also trying to get to the other topics that we're addressing, so I just wanted to expound on that, because a person asked, but if they're your friends, wouldn't you tell them the truth? You certainly can tell them the truth, but I feel like there's a tact and there's a way to do things so that you also don't ruin the friendship with your friends. Now, in my husband's case, his friend he had known from childhood, and another friend who he had hung out with all the time because they played games together and whatever, they were together for a while. Then one of them took a break from the other, but they still loved each other very much, and she slept with another good friend of his from childhood. So it was a very messy situation. As a matter of fact, come to think of it, just saying it out loud now, all three of his friends, all three of the people involved were his friends as well. The guy who got cheated on was one of his best friends. The girl who cheated on him was also one of his best friends. And the guy she cheated on with was also his best friend. Like, I know it's weird. You can only have one best friend. No, you can have several. In his mind, as he explained, he would have done more damage if he had been the one to open his mouth about it. In that kind of situation, it is not your place to say anything. Maybe you can allude to it, or clue them in, or tell each of them that they need to talk to the other and learn to communicate with the other. But sometimes the best thing is to just avoid them and stay out of it until they work it out, because they can all end up turning on you and see you as ruining the friendship. Now, some people might not mind this and see it as a noble cause, but if you do want to keep your friends, that is going to seem, especially when they're all very defensive and upset, it's going to seem as though you turned them against each other and that you're actually the reason why that happened, which is so stupid, but trust me, I've seen it happen. In my case, it was something very similar. I have this girlfriend, and she was dating this guy, and I nicknamed the guy Puppy. I'm not going to say any names, just call her B. And B and Puppy were like the cutest couple ever. So you saw them everywhere. They were like high school sweethearts. And then I had this other friend. I'll just call him Dell. He was really funny, really sweet, and I was really good friends with him too. And all of these three people were sweet people. Well, on prom night, my mother decided to share the limousine that me and my boyfriend had with her, and she went to the prom with Dell. I don't remember why Puppy couldn't go. I guess he had to work or something. But she went with Dell. Puppy said he trusted her. My boyfriend at the time was also good friends with her and her boyfriend and this guy as well. So as my boyfriend and I, no, he wasn't my husband at the time, it was another ex, as we were sitting in the limousine talking about our night, we look over and see B and Dell making out. Dell is not B's boyfriend. And we just both looked at each other, and we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything to her, and after that night, we didn't say anything to Puppy. We just pretended it never happened. After she left, we were so shocked, and we talked to each other. We're like, oh my God, poor Puppy. You know, why would she do something like that? You know, what, should we talk to her? What should we do? And my boyfriend at the time is like, you know, that really sucks. But we both had this understanding that it wasn't our place to go and say anything. Now, if Puppy was our friend and B was not really our friend like that, then we definitely would have told him. But since we were friends with them on an equal level, it's not that simple. We'd have to be betraying the other. And I think with some people you can say, well, it's very easy because one was being an asshole, so that person deserves to get told on. But the other thing is, if you go and tell that person, they can say you're lying, it can look really bad. So I just avoided all of them. As INFPs usually do. I avoided every single one of them. Dell came up to me later. He's like, "Did you tell him?" I said, "No, maybe you need to." And I told him that because we played soccer together. Well, don't worry, because it usually works out. If you have a circle of friends, it's going to get around real quick. I don't know how it got around. My boyfriend said he didn't say anything. Maybe Puppy talked to her and she was being really squirrely, knowing how she is, and he probably put it together. So he had asked my boyfriend how was prom or whatever, and my boyfriend at the time was like, "Yeah, it was good." And he avoided him as well. We just both avoided him. So Puppy came on the soccer field while I was playing soccer, and he pulled me to the side. He looked very distraught and upset. And he said to me, "You need to tell me what happened. What did something happen between her and Dell?" And I just didn't say anything. I said, "Puppy, you need to talk to her. This is between you guys." And then he started crying because I think he already knew. But I didn't say anything. In that situation, it wasn't my place to come out and be like, "Yeah, my friend cheated on you, my other friend." Even though I've done that in the past, it was usually very messy, and INFPs don't like confrontation like that. So I usually like people to work out themselves. By me not saying anything, I kind of did say something. So in that situation, he went and he talked to her. They ended up breaking up. He found out. She told him everything, and it was a big mess. He wanted to kill Dell, but Dell was also much bigger than he was. Of course, Dell felt awful. I did tell Dell later, "No, I didn't say anything. My boyfriend didn't say anything either. You knew better. You knew that she was with someone." Here's the weirdest thing that happened. And I'll never forget it. And this is why I decided to do that after, because this was trial and error. Something like this had happened prior, and I got in trouble for it. So this time around, I was a little more shy, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not saying anything." Because the last time I did this, it didn't work out too well. Apparently, that's not socially accepted to narc on all your friends. Maybe if I was actually like the leader of the group or something. I mean, I was more of an aloof kind of friend, but I just felt like it wasn't my place. And later on, Poppy, when he was very upset, talking about "fuck that whore," blah, 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 and he's like, "Listen, thanks for being honest with me." I didn't say anything, mind you. "Thanks for being honest with me, at least you're still my friend, blah, blah, blah." And I said to him, I'm like, "Puppy, I wasn't though." And he said, "No, but you didn't lie to me. Like she did. Apparently she lied to him at first, or somebody else lied to him. I have no idea. I didn't really ask him what the details were, but he considered that me being honest with him." And B, the girl, funny enough, she was like, "Thanks for not saying anything," and I'm like, did you tell him like what happened, how'd it go down?" And she was like, "Well, I tried, to let him know that, I had been drinking or whatever, and I didn't mean it, blah, 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 but he's being oversensitive." And I said, "You cheated on him." And she's like, "It was just a kiss. I didn't sleep with him." And I'm like, "But you cheated on him. How would you have felt if he kissed somebody else?" And she said she would have forgave him. Whatever. Poppy's a lot more emotional. There's some people who are okay with that, some people who are not. The point of the matter is, all three people, I walked away from that situation with them still all being my friends. Of course, the friendship circle was ruined because nobody wanted to talk to each other, but I was still friends with Dell. I was still good friends with B even now. She's married to somebody else that she loves. She has kids. I'm still friends with her, and I'm still friends with Puppy, even though we haven't talked in a long time. I maintain the trust within people because I didn't blow it up. It's the weirdest thing. It's like being totally honest somehow betrays their trust or something, or your loyalty, but being not totally honest, but not lying either, shows them that you're honest. It's very fickle. I don't know. So I just wanted to explain that situation a little further. It was something similar with my husband's situation as well. Now, where I do draw the line is if you do have a friend and you have another friend that you haven't known that long, or you're not that good friends with, you're just associates or your classmates, then yes, tell your best friend. Or if your best friend is cheating on someone that is not your friend and you have a problem with it, then talk to your best friend. In that moment, you can talk to your best friend because you know each other very well. This other person, you barely know them. Let them know that this is not cool. You need to talk to this person. But what you're certainly not going to do is go to that person and be like, "Yeah, my best friend's been cheating on you." Now, in certain situations, if my best friend's an asshole, it depends on the situation as well. If my best friend's just an asshole, just to prove a point, I will be like, look, if you don't tell her, I'm going to tell her. And if he doesn't, I'm going to actually tell her. But in general, relationship stuffs between people, I stay out of it. I am someone, my husband is as well, we do not like drama. We especially don't like social drama between people. And narking on people about stuff is a great way to get yourself in the middle of that and have the blame placed on you. Because when everyone's angry, the person who's the messenger is the one that gets beat up or the one that gets put on blast. The last thing I'm going to do is be an enemy to every single one of my friends. It's not that I care if I have friends or not. I just don't want my reputation to be muddled up and for all of that to spread. So it's best if I just don't say anything, I avoid them, and I allude to things, or I suggest. Everybody doesn't have the same approach. I get that. Some people like drama, some people don't care about it. I personally do not. It's none of my business. So I understand that some people may not feel that way, but let us know in the comments what you guys think. I'm going to be putting up the other segments of the podcast on this channel as well. And if you guys want to get the entire podcast in its entirety, then you can check out the links in the description because you'll get it all there and you won't have to wait for each of the topics to come out every other day. All right, I hope that answered your question. I hope that that was a little bit more insightful. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and we'll see you in the next video or the podcast.